Comic Picks by the Glick, and here's your host, Jason Glick.
Yeah, and here I am. Okay, this week, for a while there, I was actually at a loss about what to talk about this week for one reason or another. Then I remember, Robert Kirkman actually did a video manifesto a couple weeks back talking about how he urged creators to do more creator-owned work, as opposed to just contractual work for hire for Marvel or DC. So I watched this week. So I watched today, actually. And you know what? It's regardless of what you think about it, it appeals to me a great deal because, well, he makes a lot of interesting points about how, ultimately, the goal of a creator should be not to aspire to work for Marvel or DC, but, to use Marvel and DC as a stepping stone to work for do their own creator-owned properties. Mm-hmm. Because, as he says, creators who do creator-owned properties, their own titles, is to have a longer lifespan in the industry. Now, to be honest, I honestly can't say that's necessarily true. It's in terms of financial sense, but for me though, that is goddamn dead set true because that's how it works with me. If you're a creator, it's once you do that big creator-owned title, say if you're Grant Morrison, you do The Invisibles. You're Garth Ennis, you do The Preacher. You're Brian Vaughan, and you do Why the Last Man. You're Warren Ellis, you do Transmetropolitan. Once you get that big creator-owned series, it basically says to me, hey, you are a writer, you fucking rock. It's and I want to buy all your series now because you did this great series and everything else you did is just as great. That's what appeals to me about Kirkman's speech right in his manifesto.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I figure hey, why not take a look at Kirkman this week? Because I've talked about one of his other series, The Walking Dead, in the past podcast. I figure we want to take a look at his other stuff to see, well, what kind of situation is he in to actually say this stuff? Is it actually true for the most part? And from a financial sense, I can say it's absolutely true because The Walking Dead does absolutely bang up business in terms of single issue sales. It's one of the few titles that actually seems to gain readers with each issue, and the trade paperbacks do bang up business. And then there's this other creator-owned title, the superhero series Invincible. Now, this is a fun little series. It's about Mark Reynolds, and he's a average kid. Only problem is his dad sat him down for the talk one of these days, and basically his talk was saying that, oh son, well, I'm a member of the Viltrumite race, and so one of these days you're gonna getting some kind of superpowers and become a superhero one of these days, super strength, the ability to fly, all this great stuff. And so basically the series begins with Mark finally getting superpowers and growing into the role of being his own superhero. Well, at least that's the way it is for the first couple issues, because the beauty of the series is that since it's creator-owned, because it subscribes to its own universe at that, basically Kirkman is free to do whatever the hell he wants. So if he wants to basically just completely change up the status quo from issue to issue, he's free to do that. And while I really don't want to give away the big shocking change that involves his father at the end of the third trade paperback, all I can say is that it does a great job of just constantly changing things up. I mean, it's about Mark just having fun as a superhero, growing as a character, but Kirkman also does this just a certain amount of depth to this. Basically saying everything you thought was true, it's not. It's but as opposed to any other Marvel or DC series when they try to pull that kind of crap, he actually makes it work because there's actually a lot of emotional investment he infuses with the characters with, and he's just trying to actually give more detail to the cast, the situations, and everything. Where am I going with this? It's basically after Mark learns the truth about his dad, he starts working for the government. Then he starts finding out the government isn't quite on the up and up, and all this chaos starts happening. It's a great series that basically just it's never the same from one moment to the next. I mean that in a good way. I mean, I'll admit there are some parts where I wish that Kirkman had delved into some consequences in more detail. When Mark goes and kills one of his villains, who's been tossing him through various for some alternate dimensions with a little hope of him actually getting home. I mean, you should actually like gone down that part a bit more detail, but as it is, it's like I'm constantly looking forward to each new volume of the series because like, even though he's got like an overall story to this, there's like all sorts of new stuff being thrown in with each volume, and I have to say, like the series has promoted itself as being probably the best superhero comic on the stands, and for the most part, I'm kind of inclined to agree with them. I mean, it's a good example of what the superhero genre can do, like when it's not tied down to a larger universe, like with Marvel or DC.
Right. So, is this? So, what's the publisher of this particular one?
This is from Image.
Image.
Yeah,
right.
and it's like I said, it's an example of why Kirkman's able to say this stuff, because it does like just real well in single issues, not as well as The Walking Dead, but like I said, Kirkman's had actually 2 series creator-owned series that do really well. It's like he's at a great position to say that, hey, you know what, creator-owned work does sell a lot better. Well, not sell a lot. Like if it's successful, like if you manage to hit the right note with the audience, and yeah, you can make a lot more money doing creator-owned stuff than you do working for Marvel or DC.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, let me ask you this question: do you think that Marvel or DC, and I probably know the answer because you probably talked about it on earlier podcasts, did they let independent writers and creators that they contract to do work take off with their own storylines of particular characters, or do they pretty much pigeonhole them into a stereotype?
It depends on the creator. Because, I mean, if you're a big enough creator, like if you're Grant Morrison for DC or Brian Michael Bendis for Marvel, like you're pretty much carte blanche to do whatever the hell you want.
Right.
As long as it doesn't, like defame the character or anything.
Right. Mm-hmm.
In a DC, for creator-owned work, you can put it through their Vertigo imprint. And for Marvel, they got their Icon imprint, which is basically, it's like if you've sold enough stuff for Marvel, you can do your creator-owned stuff through here. It's like as kind of like a reward for doing all this great stuff for the company. Mm-hmm. That's where Bendis publishes powers through. Okay. Yeah. But however, Kirkman was also talking about one of the reasons why he's not working for Marvel anymore. I mean, one of the reasons is when you're hot, you're hot. When you're not, you're not. Mm-hmm. To be honest, I will admit that Kirkman's probably also tossing this up because he's probably on a slightly downswing with Marvel. I mean, not technically in a creative sense, but just because like all the stuff he's done hasn't necessarily sold as well. I mean, his signature Marvel series is, of course, Marvel Zombies.
Right.
Yeah. Now, John, do you know what a Marvel Zombie is?
Let me guess. A Marvel Zombie is a Marvel superhero that has turned into a zombie.
Close. No, that's the subject of the actual comic book series. An actual Marvel Zombie is someone who buys Marvel comics without thinking anything else. I mean, they'll just buy anything Marvel produces, like regardless. I mean, there are a lot of them in the '90s. There are less of them right now, and really, the whole reason this series came about is a spin-off. It's a spin-off from a story arc from Ultimate Fantastic Four, which was he had Ultimate Reed Richards going to another dimension to interact with another Reed Richards there, only to find out that, oh wait, this is actually another Reed Richards. This is actually a zombie Reed Richards who has been infected with the zombie virus, and as have all the other various Marvel superheroes. Yeah. Now, naturally, Ultimate Reed Richards escapes back to the Ultimate Universe with the Ultimate Zombie Fantastic Four in hot pursuit. Marvel Zombies picks up from that point where Magneto, who has basically become a good guy in the sense that, well, it's like after the zombie virus has pretty much turned all the Marvel superheroes into zombies, and they've gone and killed off all the regular populace. There's really not a point in promoting the whole mutant supremacy thing after that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So right after Magneto sends Reed Richards back to the Ultimate Universe, he's basically like, yes, I've saved everyone. Then you get, let's see, who do we have threatening him? You got, let's see. You get a nice double-page spread of Spider-Man, Daredevil, Thor, Moon Knight, Giant Man, Captain America, Luke Cage, Angel, and Wolverine, all threatening to eat him right then and there. And you know what? They do.
Oh, wow.
Because that's the beauty of this series. I mean, Kirkman comes up with a lot of really inspired, gruesome, zombie infected action. Like as they're ripping limbs off Magneto threatens, "I hope you choke on me." I mean, it's great, inspired, gruesome fun. And one of the other points of Kirkman's video manifesto was that we should be working. Marvel and DC should make more age appropriate stuff. Stuff that's good for all ages. Stuff that doesn't talk down to to adolescents, especially so intelligent enough to make them want to read this stuff.
Right.
This stuff. Oh God, no! This is, even though it has no profanity in it, it's a very, very gruesome series. But for all of us fan men out there,
sure,
it's a lot of fun because you get to see them not only chow down on the Silver Surfer, try to take out Galactus, find out that zombies really don't taste good, and Giant Man try to retain enough sanity by chowing down on bits and pieces of the Black Panther to try and solve the problem to the zombie thing. Because the great part is that while a lot of the zombies are just crazed killers, once they eat someone and they've sated their hunger, they realize, oh God, what did I do? And they finally get their minds back and realize what the horrible people they like. Like when Spider-Man, we realize that Spider-Man reveals that he ate Aunt May and Mary Jane. I mean, it's...
So his conscience bothers them. Or
yes.
You're saying their consciences bother them.
Yes, and it's a fun conceit, and it works for the most part, especially when their final showdown with Galactus.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man.
Yeah, and while this would be a great one-shot storyline as it is, they also... Because the series was extremely successful, I mean, people just kept reordering the 5 issues of the series for a while. I mean, part of this is due to the strength of Robert Kirkman's writing. Sean Phillips, who's still one of my favorite artists, his great dark gruesome art, but really it was Arthur Theodem's zombie takes on various famous Marvel covers that really jumped out the stands where everyone was reading this. So naturally, a sequel was inevitable.
Right.
And soon you get the imaginatively titled Marvel Zombies 2. Now, this is when a lot of the principal zombie survivors of the first series basically reach the end of the universe, realize, hey, you know what? We've eaten everything here. What's next? Mm-hmm. So there was, hey, you know what? There was this dimensional transportation device that Reed Richards was using at the original series. Why don't we go back there and go and transport ourselves to another dimension? Yeah, so they do that, and upon returning to Earth, they find out that there are still some humans here. So now we're going to take them down. Only the twist is that they've actually they found that if you haven't eaten for a while, you're able to control your hunger. So now you've got the whole zombie civil war. You got the good zombies versus the bad zombies. And I'm really impressed that Kirkman was really able to get enough story out of this to last 5 issues.
Wow.
But really the star here is Phillips' artwork, he draws the hell out of a lot of these scenes here. And it's great stuff. Well, art-wise, but story-wise, I mean, it's really, you're getting to the point of diminishing returns here.
Sure.
I mean, it's good enough if you like the first one, but it doesn't make me enthusiastic. They've already announced Marvel Zombies 3, which basically, naturally, zombies have arrived in the regular mainstream Marvel universe.
Right.
Yeah. So, I recommend the first one wholeheartedly. The second one, if you've got $20 to burn. Okay. That said, Kirkman's other major Marvel series, well, aside from Marvel Team Up, which I didn't bother to read because I heard it was meh, is Ultimate X-Men.
All right.
Okay. Now, I've mentioned Ultimate X-Men in passing on a previous podcast, talking about how, it's kind of also reaching the point of diminishing returns. And when I was talking about that, yeah, I really was talking about Kirkman's run in particular. Because the first arc he does, Date Night, which is basically all the Ultimate cast just talking through their various subplots. With, Scott Summers talking up with Jean Grey and stuff like Bobby talking up with Rogue and Kitty Pryde, stuff like that. It's it's a good, great character-driven arc.
Sure.
And it's kind of all downhill from there. Because, then, for the first two volumes, Phoenix and Magical. It's basically like Kirkman's own arc, talking about his new villain, the Magician, who basically he's a devious reality manipulating character. It's basically like he's introduced to the X-Men. He's like a guy who can do anything, but only promise he's just basically like a guy who can just alter reality in subtle ways, like a hypnosis kind of thing. And then once the X-Men realize this, then like whole big actual throwdown ensues between them and the Magician. Now that's the first arc. The second major arc basically involves introduction of Ultimate Cable, who basically is revealed to have killed, who basically kills Ultimate Professor X in his initial arc, leaving the X-Men to disband and go to their own thing, with Ultimate Bishop arriving to pick up the threads. Now, the problem is that Ultimate Cable is really, oh man, it's like I honestly can't believe Kirkman pulled this off, because basically Ultimate Cable is basically just Wolverine from the future.
Interesting.
Yeah, it could have worked, but it's kind of the whole arc turns into one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's like it's ultimately revealed that that Cable and Bishop are working in concert to train the X-Men to prepare them for the imminent arrival of Ultimate Apocalypse. Now you may worry about, hey, Jason, you're giving us spoilers here. And I'm saying no. It's like really, it's like if you're bored by what I'm talking about here, yeah, you're bored by the actual storyline, because Kirkman, he does a decent job taking a lot of the dregs of X-Men continuity from the '90s, like Strife, like reinventing him as a character who can actually cause internal strife among the mutants, and the whole Cable Bishop storyline basically drags on for a bit, because you get the feeling like Kirkman's just playing mix and match like a lot of previous Marvel history and just turning it into his own arc. The biggest while the subsequent volumes are all right. I mean, it's like his whole volume 17 Sentinels is just basically like an extended. Oh, we're gonna have like Bishop team with the X-Men to take on Sentinels who've been revived by the Ultimate Fenris twins. The final arc, Apocalypse, where Apocalypse naturally shows up. You kind of wish that Kirkman had tightened up the previous arc, Sentinels, which took a while. Basically, to give him more time with then 4 issues for Ultimate Apocalypse arc, which basically it's them fighting Apocalypse. And that's it. They're fighting Apocalypse for 4 issues, and like he really doesn't have any space to really give this conflict the scope and epicness it deserves. I mean, if you're gonna throw him against a mutant who's got the ability to control other mutants, and just throw everyone into this big, huge, giant battle royale, I think it really deserves more space than the 4 issues he gets here. And it's even more depressing. It's Apocalypse is ultimately defeated. He's also defeated in a way that basically allows Kirkman to hit the reset button for pretty much everything he's accomplished in this arc. Yeah, so really, it's to be honest, based on what I've heard of the arc that follows this thing, Ultimate X-Men, Volume 18, Apocalypse of Ultimate X-Men, basically is me drawing, has basically me to draw a line under Ultimate X-Men. It's once this is it, if I loan this to anyone, this is going to be the last volume they see. So really, it's I don't know if this is editorial driven mandates, or if or Kirkman just wasn't interested enough to to pull off anything further. But really, it's I can really see why he wanted to leave Marvel after this point.
it reflects it in the work you're saying, huh? At least in these volumes.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking at this stuff. I mean, it's Kirkman's Kirkman's credo and stuff is more than anything worth recommending. Speaking of which, I mentioned in a previous podcast, how many times have I said that this podcast? God damn it! Is that talking about The Walking Dead? I said that the last one of the most recent volumes, Volume 7, was make or break territory. Now that Volume 8, Made to Suffer, has come out, I can say that verdict is make. Because really, it's the showdown between the Warden and our heroes in the prison, and really, it confirms that Kirkman understands a lot of the a lot of the genre conventions I was accusing him of manipulating in the previous volumes. I mean, it's like he understands when dead means dead. It's like some of the characters, like, yeah, it's like if you see a character killed off screen, you know they're not coming back. Right. But then if you have the main villain hack a guy's head off with the samurai sword in the middle of an arc, you can understand. No, that guy, he's dead. He ain't coming back.
Right.
And yeah, like I said, well, I criticize. Yeah, and when the warden, well, I'll not spoil anything, but let's just say the warden really gets what he deserves in this arc. Kirkman understands, like, yeah, you know, I showed you what happened to him in a previous arc. Let me show you what happens to him now when I really want to give him his comeuppance for what he's done. And really, it's like even this is probably one of the most depressing and despondent volumes of a series I've read in a while, because a lot of the characters you thought were safe that you wouldn't ever see die in a series, no, don't get attached to the supporting cast.
They're for game here, huh?
Yes, even some of the main cast members you've seen for a while. It's like they're, oh man. Yeah, and even so, Kirkman does it in a way that makes you want to know, okay, where's he going with this? What's going to happen in Volume 9? I got to check this out now. So really, I mean, it's like, if anything, it's more proof that Kirkman knows what he's doing with creator-owned stuff, that I want to see him do more creator-owned stuff as opposed to corporate-owned Marvel or DC. So hey, props to Kirkman, and I keep hearing how you're trying to convince everyone to do that, and that Marvel and DC that your efforts have basically resulted in Marvel and DC trying to give those creators better contracts. So I hope you convince other people, and really all you other creators out there. Hey, you heard what I said. You need that big creator-owned series to prove to me that you can do, like, that all the other stuff you do is worth reading. So hey, I look forward to seeing what you come up with and whatever Robert Kirkman does next. Okay, so until then, calling it a night.
All right, we'll see you later on Comic Picks by the Glick.
Bye.
See ya.